I tried every formula from Fwee, and let me tell you, if you've never tried this brand before but you're open to possibly being influenced, this video is for you. Now, I've been using a few Fwee products for some time now, but I'm still overall very new to the brand. But I've really been wanting to review these products, not only for the channel, but also for myself. Fwee is a K-beauty brand, and you've probably heard of it because it is so popular and well-known, especially for a few products in particular. And they are very widely accessible, and Amazon Prime Day is coming up, so I thought this video could be helpful. Let's go ahead and get into it. The first product that we're going to talk about is the Fwee Pudding Pot. I feel like this is Fwee's most viral product, and I am familiar with the formula, but this shade is new to me. This is called Boss. These are aptly named pudding pots because they really do have a soft pudding-like texture. The finish is a velvety matte, and what's really cool about this product is that it does make the claim as being able to be used on the lip and the cheek, and it's a product that genuinely works well as both. And I do think it's because it has that velvety matte texture and because it's extremely buildable. So what I really want to show you in my application on the lips is that you can see that you can wear this as a very muted shade, or you can continue to build it up and really get the opacity that you want. And I think this property is really versatile when it comes to how you wear it on the lips, but it also makes it so that it is usable as a blush. Not only because of that velvety matte texture, but because it's buildable and easy to blend. So I can definitely see why this product has been as popular as it is. I'm also curious to know if you love this product. Do you prefer using it as a blush or on the lips? I really love the way this looks so seamless on the cheeks. And don't get me wrong, I think it looks lovely on the lips as well. I just really, really love lip gloss. So I think ultimately I'm gonna go more for lip gloss than a matte lip, but I also think there's something to be said about a really easy monochromatic moment. Next, we're going to talk about the 3D Volume Lip Gloss. I have shown and featured their glosses in some of my other videos, but something really cool that Fwee does is that they offer a lot of their shades in 30% and 70%, and what that is referring to is how full opacity each gloss is. And I do think that's a really cool way of making their lip gloss shades, so you can really get the effect that you want. You can find the shade that you like and then choose the opacity that you get with each shade. The shade that I'm swatching right now is called Current. It does have a very fine shimmer in it, but it's not very noticeable when you wear it on the lips. You can see it a little bit better in the hand swatch. This is not a plumping formula, and it's very comfortable on the lips. It makes them look so shiny and smooth, and I know that glosses do that, but there just is something so smooth and gloss-like when it comes to so many K-beauty products. I don't have a lot of shades from each category, but when I do, I'm going to go ahead and show swatches of those as well. In case you've been curious about the shades, this is the shade Scotch, which is another 30%. I think on me, this is a beautiful nude toned gloss. I would describe it as a pink tone brown. Next, we have the 3D Volume Gloss, but this time one of the 70% versions, and this is the shade Engdu. I'm so sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but this means cherry in Korean. I tried on this gloss during my red gloss video, and I absolutely fell in love with this shade. Now, this is a very bright red, especially for me, but it's something about the opacity being just full enough, but that it is very pigmented, but it's still not full opacity. And as I had mentioned before, there's a subtle shimmer throughout. I think that subtle shimmer is really great because it does bring the gloss to life just a little bit more. And hopefully now that you're having the chance to see what the 70% gloss looks like in comparison to that 30%, you can see what I mean by saying that the 70% version is quite a bit more pigmented than the 30% version. I also think it's great that if you fall in love with the shade, you can get it in a few different formulas. And in this 70% 3D Volume Gloss formula, I also have the shade Tarot. I would describe this as a mid-toned mauve shade. On my skin tone, I think that this is a really beautiful kind of nudie toned shade. Great for every day and when I'm going for something a little bit more subtle. Next, we have the 3D Changing Gloss formula. In terms of how this gloss feels, it's to me very similar to the 30 and 70%. It doesn't feel plumping. It does make your lips look shiny and juicy, smooth and glass-like. In the description online, it says to layer these shades depending on your mood. I'm not sure if it means that these are also great layering glosses over other glosses. I personally really love this black gloss all on its own because it gives a subtle tint. It has just a hint of gray as well. And this particular shade doesn't have sparkle. As you can see, it has that kind of rubberized applicator that some of the other gloss formulas have as well. And it is described as a bit of a thicker formula, which I think helps to make it last a little bit longer. And next we have the shade Scene Lavender, which is the same type of formula as Scene Black. I would describe this as a little bit of a milky toned light pink. It's not completely opaque, but you can see on the lips that it does have a little bit of milkiness. Typically, if a shade like this was fully opaque on me, I don't think it would be so flattering, but this one I think works pretty well. Okay, now we have the 4D Volume Plumping Gloss, and this is only in one shade. It's clear. Trying plumping glosses always makes me a little bit nervous, and I wanted to actually see how long the plump lasted, so I tried it on before I even made this video. I would say this is a solid medium plump. Like, it definitely stings. It's not as bad as the NYX Duck Plump if you've tried that one. But I gotta say that in terms of the effects that I saw on my lips, I definitely noticed a difference. I really did notice that they looked fuller, they looked smoother. One of the ingredients in this gloss is rosehip oil, meant to minimize some of that irritation. I think in this closer up shot, you can see my lips do look a little bit fuller, but you have to be okay with that plumping sensation in order to get on board with this one. Now we have another formula that's new to me, and this is called the Stay Fit Lip Tint. And what's cool about this formula is that you can get it in a more milky gloss or a more kind of sheer watery gloss. Basically, you apply these like a gloss and they stain like a tint, like they leave a tint behind. And the tint is supposed to be long-lasting and smudge-proof and one that's going to wear and last all day. All of the shades that they have in this line are pink, so the idea is that you're supposed to be able to find the perfect pink for you. The milky glosses are intended for more of a blurred look, and the watery glosses for more of a vibrant tint. I'm trying on Pink Obsession in the milky version, and honestly, this tone of pink is pretty. It's not my tone of pink when it comes to the gloss, although something I liked is that it seemed to deepen up after I applied it to the lips. So it became a pink that I actually liked a bit more, and then here it is up close. Now, as a gloss, I liked this, but as a stain, I really love this, and the stain actually matches the outer packaging really well. Okay, now we get to talk about the Glowy Jelly Pots, and I was super excited to try these. Now, I do think this product is more polarizing than the Fwee pudding pots, and that all comes down to texture. These are also lip and cheek. The texture of these is bouncy, but it's more like a jelly than a putty. It has an intense shine to it. So on the lips, it looks like a lip gloss. It's not a liquid, so it does feel ever so slightly thicker. If you wear it on the cheeks, it does give you that glass skin look. I personally really like that look, but you will feel this one on the cheeks. To me, it didn't feel sticky, but I was aware of it being there in general. But honestly, I also really like the way that this one looks on the lips. It's like a super shiny lip balm. So even if you don't use it as a blush, I think you might actually really like it as a lip product. I also forgot to mention, this is the shade Capot. Now I'm putting it on my cheeks, just gently tapping it on with my fingertips. I think you can see what I mean when I say glass skin. I didn't find that it broke up my foundation when I applied it like this. If you've also tried this product, definitely let us know in the comments how this plays with your complexion products and powder products. Here is what it looks like a little bit closer up. And next we have the shade Couverture, which I was really excited about. It's kind of like a cross between a berry and a brown tone. For me, this is such a comfort zone type of lip shade. And I really love how this product also looks nice, both on the lips and the cheek. Though, of course, I understand that not everyone is going for that dewy cheek kind of a look. And here's what couverture looks closer up on the cheek. I also got one of the Fwee jelly pots in the shade Sugar Powder. I have heard so many people talk about how much they love using this as a highlighter. And it's for a lot of the reasons that I mentioned with this formula of the blush. On the cheeks, it gives sort of a glass skin effect. I think a lot of y'all already know I really love highlighters, so my excitement for trying this product definitely has that bias. I would describe this shade as a pearly pink, and I think you can see as I'm blending it in that you can really sheer it out to the point where it doesn't look so icy. It also doesn't really look glittery in my opinion. It has a really pretty sheen when it's blended out. And I did feel the same way when I applied it to my cheeks. I do think that I have to really blend it out if I don't want it to look too icy. And here's what it looked like on the cheek. I actually think this is really beautiful, but can you imagine if they had this in a few deeper shades as well? Imagine more of a rose gold or some golds and some bronzy tones in general. And here's what Sugar Powder looks a little bit closer up on the cheeks. Okay, next we have the 1 Minute Ready Lip Serum. This only comes in one shade because basically it's just like a universal sleeping mask. I'm actually really intrigued by this, and I've been really intending to be better with my lip routine at bedtime, especially since I've been doing more lip swatches recently. This is a really thin formula. It's absorbed very quickly by the skin. And it says it can also be used as a primer, so I'm actually intrigued to use it that way as well. Here's what it looks like up close. Next we have the Mellow Dual Blush. I picked up this duo because of that red shade, because a lot of the duos were a little bit too light for me. Like, I don't really have much use for that lighter pink, which is why I ended up not trying it on. But I really wanted to try this formula, and I would describe it as, again, sort of like a bouncy texture, but this is more of a cream to powder. I went ahead and applied it with my fingertip. I actually think that this is a really beautiful, seamless blush. This is a formula that's very forgiving. It's going to be hard to overdo, and it looks so natural on the skin. Here's what it looks like closer up as well. This is definitely a formula I think is going to be hard to overdo. And the last formula that I'm going to talk about is Fwee's newer powder highlighters. I actually haven't seen these talked about. Maybe it's because they're so new, but I, of course, was really excited to try a highlighter formula. And of course, I had to get one of the blue ones. This is the shade Mary Aurora. And I would definitely describe this as a sparkly highlighter, although I think you'll be able to see from the swatch that it's not a super large particle sparkly highlighter. That being said, if you're not someone who's into sparkly face highlights, I don't think this product is necessarily going to be for you. I went ahead and tapped this on with my finger, and I honestly really liked what this looked like when I sort of worked it into the skin. This is definitely if you're going for a more icy toned highlight, of course. And then I also got the shade Lucky Clover. I honestly did think that this was going to be a green highlight because of the packaging, but to me, this really isn't a green. This is more like a fiery toned yellowy orange. So for this particular shade, the packaging is a little bit deceiving. Here's what it looks like swatched on the back of my hand. And I do have one shade from each formula that I tested swatched on my arm. I will have all of those labeled from the wrist down. I know that this is a slightly different style of video for me because I'm actually testing all of the formulas from a brand, but I honestly had a lot of fun doing this, and I think it's because Fwee really didn't have many misses for me, if any. A couple of the products are maybe not necessarily my style, but are not bad products at all. I also think the prices for these products is incredibly good, and on top of that, they offer a fair number of sales as well. Please let me know in the comments what your favorite products from Fwee are, or if you're intrigued to try the brand. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.